Thursday, March 18th, 2021. What's up, everybody? Joe Verfar here for On the Block. And if you're looking to make some money, this is the place to be. And I'm not talking about foreign exchange, no scams. We're going to make money legitimately here. NCAA tournament kicks off tomorrow. There were some playing games today, and tournament's about to kick off tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is I'll go through the first round of my bracket. I'm not going to go through everything, and I will break down all the spreads that are available. Some of the late games, the 1 versus 16s, those are not available yet just because odds makers haven't had enough time to kind of put together a line. That being said, first I'll go through the spreads. First game up, Virginia Tech, Carolina. Virginia Tech, in Florida. Now, Gators and the Hokies, Virginia Tech 1 point dog. I don't know why, usually I'm a Florida guy here, but I'm going to have to go with Virginia Tech, take them +1. Should be a close game. This might be one of those games where it comes down to a buzzer beater to win it, but give me the 1 point there with Virginia Tech. Colgate taking on Arkansas. The Razorbacks have done a lot this year, good things in the SEC, but I saw Colgate play a few games and they've pretty much dominated everybody that they've played. They're 8.5 point dogs. If you haven't figured it out by now, I love them on the 8.5. They might even pull off the upset, who knows. Next game, Drexel going against Illinois. Now, I'm going to give a little tease. I have Illinois going to the Final Four and a little bit further past the Final Four. That being said, give me Illinois -22.5. I think they're just too big inside. And Drexel, I'm not even sure that they're really the best team in their conference this season. I saw a bit of the stats, and I think they're going to have a tough time against the Fighting Illini. 145, Texas Tech Red Raiders going against Utah State. Utah State, if they lose this game, my bracket is pretty much done. I'm not even going to lie. I have Utah State going very far. Texas Tech has done a lot of big things this season. They beat Texas. Mac McClung's still there. They got a lot of depth, a lot of great players. 4 point spread, which to be honest is a little bit fishy. And whenever I see a spread that's kind of fishy, it makes me kind of question. People might say it's a trap game. People might just jump on the Red Raiders. I love Utah State in this game. They've dominated their conference all season, won their conference tournament, and I'm going to be talking a lot about them, hopefully going forward. Next game after that, Ohio State, Oral Roberts. Ohio State -16. Ohio State, to be honest, I think they have to be tired. They've played a lot of games. They believe they lost in the Big Ten championship. So 16.5 points, 16 points, depending on where you're getting it. I'm going to go with Oral Roberts there. Ohio State should still win the game, but I'm going to take the points. Baylor and Hartford. Baylor, one of the number 1 seeds. And to be honest, I'm going to need to take a favorite here. So I'm going to go with the -25 points for Baylor. Probably the best offense in college basketball. Them and Gonzaga, I think, are probably 1 and 2. I'm going to take Baylor, the Bears, into 25 points there. Next game. So Georgia Tech has lost one of their top 2 scorers. The line started off as 3 for Loyola Chicago. Now, if you guys remember, they went to the Final Four. I want to say it was about 5, give or take 5 years ago. They're going to have the nun sister. I don't remember what her name is. She's going to be, she's like 101 years old. God bless her. Loyola went up to 5.5. Now, I love them at 3. I like them to win the game. 5.5 is going to be tough. To be honest, if I had to pick this spread, I'm probably going to take Georgia Tech on the 5.5, but Loyola for your brackets. Tennessee. So the Vols, 8.5 favorites against Oregon State Beavers. Now, Oregon State ended up winning the Pac-12 tournament, and they won someone a lot of money. I want to say that they were like 85 to 1 to win the tournament. Someone bet $100, ended up winning like 85 grand. I'm sold. I am sold. Give me the Beavers plus the 8.5. They might even pull off the upset here. I know a lot of people have Tennessee going pretty far in this tournament. Tennessee's a great team. 2 guys probably going in the first round from the Vols. But I just think Oregon State, they're just on a roll right now. Similar to Georgetown, who we'll get to a little bit later. I'm going to take the 8.5 points there. Next game. 6:45. So Oklahoma State and Cowboys, as my boys call me, Cowboy Joe, Cade Cunningham. Probably the first pick in the NBA draft. 6'7", like point guard, combo guard, comparing him to Grant Hill. I think a lot of people have really jumped on Oklahoma State here. They are a 4 seed in the Midwest division. Now, I think that they should win the game, but to be honest, I would not be surprised if they kind of choke on this one. I'm going to take Liberty, who's been consistent all season. I've been riding them, to be honest, from the beginning of the season forward, and they've done a really good number against the spread. I'm going to take them plus 7.5 here, and like I said, don't be surprised if they end up pulling this off. I like a lot of dogs this tournament, if you haven't noticed. Colorado State, not in the tournament. They're going up against Buffalo. I would take Buffalo there, probably the 1.5. Another game, like I said, not in the tournament. I believe that's the NIT. Getting back to the tournament. Wisconsin Badgers, UNC Tar Heels. Now, Igor came on last time. He was talking about how much he loves UNC. I'm a UNC guy, obviously. Vince, Jordan, the list goes on and on. Even Stack and Sheet from the 90s. I like Wisconsin here. Now, UNC did not have a great regular season. I don't want to say they just made it in, but they just made it in. Wisconsin, by their standards in the Big Ten, didn't have the best season either, but I think that they're a more physical team, a grittier team, and I think that they're going to pull this one off. Like I said, slight dog here at the plus 1.5. You can even take them on the money line at even money. I like them to win this game. To be honest, I'm kind of confident in this one. Check back on this one later if they don't make it through, because I have Wisconsin winning a few games in the bracket as well. Houston Cougars taking on Cleveland State. Houston, I think they're the best defensive team in the country. 20-point favorites here. Now, Houston's had a bit of a problem in their tournament this year, to be honest, games going into the tournament. They lost one right before the tournament started, but they just haven't been blowing teams out. And I don't know about this one. I'm going to ride Cleveland State plus the 20. I think that Houston could just put the clamps on and end up winning this one in a beating, but I'm going to take Cleveland State in the 20 points there, only because, like I said, Houston hasn't really convinced me that they've been able to put teams away recently. Clemson and Rutgers. I believe this is an 8-9 matchup, 7-10. So Clemson's the 7. Clemson, to be honest, finished really strong. Went into the ACC tournament. I believe they lost in the second round. Rutgers started off really strong. I believe that they beat Illinois as well early in the season. They had some pretty big wins. Started off the season good, tailed off a little bit, and then put together a decent enough resume to make the tournament. Rutgers has to be pretty happy to get out of the Big Ten because there's just so many good teams in that division there. Clemson, decent season, like I said, in the ACC, but I'm going to take the slight dog here. They are favorites in this game, but it's a 7-10 matchup. They're the 10. Give me Rutgers in this one, the Scarlet Knights. I'm going to take them minus the 1.5. Okay. Toronto fans, Kawhi Leonard's alma mater, and Malachi Flynn's alma mater. San Diego State, minus 3 going against Syracuse, who a lot of people are taking. I read that a lot of people are actually taking Syracuse to come out of the Midwest. I don't remember what the odds are, but I know that it's paying pretty decent. Syracuse is an 11. Syracuse had a really good run at this tournament. To be honest, like since Melo won it all for them in 2003. They made it to the Final Four 5-6 years ago once again, and when they made it that time, they were probably around the same kind of seed. Weren't really that good going into the tournament, but caught fire and ended up winning. I really like San Diego State here minus the 3. They've blown teams out all season. I don't know if Syracuse is really going to be prepared for this matchup, to be honest. I wouldn't see them falling down early and never really being able to put together a run to get back in the game. I like San Diego State here, and they might win pretty big. West Virginia, Morehead State. I need to take some favorites. Don't know too much about Morehead State, I'm not going to lie, but West Virginia with Huggins, they're one of the best defensive teams as well in the country. They're probably going to press full court. That's typically what they've done. I'll take them minus the 13. Villanova Wildcats, another team, won the tournament, if I had to guess, maybe like 3 years ago. They've run into a lot of injuries. I believe their top scorer went down about 2 weeks ago. Villanova here going against Winthrop. I have Winthrop as winning this game, actually. Now, they are a 6.5-point dog. They've been great all season. They've been very competitive, pretty high in the RPI as well. And I think that they're going to definitely cover the spread, and I think that they're going to pull off this game, like I said. So look for Winthrop to win this game and cover. And if you want to take them on the money line, plus 225 here on Bet365, get your money in. Day 2, so this is on Saturday. We've got Georgetown, who just won. Patrick Ewing, shout out to him, the first player and coach to win the tournament. They are going against Colorado. Colorado ended up losing the Pac-12 championship to Oregon State, who I talked about earlier. Colorado's been pretty good for a while now in the Pac-12. It used to be like a USC, UCLA kind of conference there, and even Oregon, but Colorado's been a powerhouse in this division. I think Colorado's going to win the game, but I want to take Georgetown on the spread. I'm just hoping that Georgetown doesn't run out of gas because they entered as one of the lowest seeds in the Big East tournament. And they've played a lot of games recently. Now they've had, what would it be, maybe 3 or 4 days off now, hoping they can, regroup, get some energy back, and be competitive in this game. So I'll take them plus the 6.5. Florida State. Now the Seminoles have been another team that's just dominated in this tournament. Leonard Hamilton, the coach, one of the best coaches in basketball I've talked about. He just got an extension. And I don't think that there's been a more consistent team that I can think of in at least like the last 10 years than Florida State. They've put in some NBA guys too. Jonathan Isaac's a guy that comes off the top of my head in the NBA. But they just, every time I think about them, they have big, rangy wings, centers. They play defense really tough, and they can really blow some teams out. 10.5 against UNC Greenboro. I'm going to take Florida State here, and they might have a big run in them again like they did last year. No tournament last year, 2 years ago. I'm going to take Florida State in the 10.5. Kansas against Eastern Washington. Now, the Jayhawks, this has not been, by any stretch of the imagination, their best season. It's been pretty low by their standards. In the Big 12 this year, weren't the top team. But that being said, Eastern Washington, obviously a small school. I've been following them for a while. They always seem to, cover whenever I end up taking them. I think Eastern Washington wins this game outright. This might be my biggest dog prediction of the tournament, at least in the first round. They're playing 5-1 on this game, 10.5 point dog. I love them plus the 10.5. I'm going to post this one because I think that Eastern Washington's going to pull this off. If they lose by 20, don't come at me. But I am going to take them myself plus the 10.5. Good luck to all you guys. LSU, Ben Simmons' alma mater, going against St. Bonaventure's Bonnies. LSU minus 1.5. LSU started off really slow, and they're another team that picked up some steam towards the end of the season. I believe they lost in the SEC Finals to Alabama. Now, LSU is a team that has been, like I said, pretty inconsistent. The Bonnies have been dominant all season in the Atlantic 12. I'm going to lean towards LSU here. I think they win this game, and they might even win one more in the next round. And like I said, it's pretty much staying at 1.5. I'm going to keep it there. Michigan at 26 point spread there to Texas Southern. Now, Michigan's had some injury issues as well. They were fighting to be the top seed in the tournament. Gonzaga went undefeated. They took that. But a lot of people have Michigan going to the finals and potentially even winning it. I'm going to take the plus 26 here with Texas Southern just due to the injuries. I don't know if Michigan's going to come out and set the world on fire, even though their offense has been explosive for a long time now. I'll take the points in the 26 there. Michigan might end up winning. It's probably going to be close, maybe like a 23-24 point win there. Hoping that the Dogs bring that one out. Creighton Blue Jays. Now, Doug McDermott's dad is the coach there. He was suspended for, I guess you can call, I believe it was racial comments. They're going, and the team, that being said, the team has really responded well, I guess, ever since that happened. The players were disappointed but accepted his apology. They're 7.5 point favorites against UC Santa Barbara. I'm going to take Creighton here. I have Creighton winning a few games, 7.5. So I'll take the points there, and I think that Creighton, just a very explosive offense. I think they're going to really blow the doors off in that game. Iona from the MAC division going against Alabama. Now, the Crimson Tide won in the college football, and a lot of people are trying to manifest that Alabama's going to win this too. Now, this is, I don't know, the best Alabama team I've seen since I've been since I have been following college ball since about 2001 or 2. I think by far their best team. 17-point favorites here. Iona has a pretty good offense as well. I'm going to take the 17 here. I think that Alabama's still going to cruise this game, probably win by 10 or 11, but I'm going to take the 17 points. Drake. Now, going into this tournament, when me and Igor did our original predictions, USC was one of my teams. The 11 seed was a playing game. It was between Wichita State and Drake. Wichita State started off very strong, tail towards the end. Drake, like I said, I want to believe they started off like 20-0 or something like that. I took Drake, and I was saying if Drake ends up winning this game, I'm going to take them to beat USC. If Wichita wins, I'm going to take USC. Drake just won. They won by 1 point. They were down early, ended up having a big lead after, and ended up winning by 1 point. I'm going to take Drake to win this game against USC. Hopefully, they're not too tired because I know there was a big battle today. I saw a little bit of the highlights. Looked like a good game. But USC, has a lottery pick themselves on their roster, and USC's been pretty solid all year in the Pac-12. But I am going to take Drake to pull off this upset. Shout out to Drake. I'll be Graham on that one, but I'm going to take Drake. So plus the 6.5, you want to take them on, not even a money line available right now, it's off the board, but six points now, it just dropped. Next game, Iowa and Luke Garza going against Grand Canyon. Last year, Iowa seemed like they covered every damn game all season. This year, it's been a bit of a different story. Now, they haven't covered as much, but they've still won a majority of their games. In the Big Ten tournament, didn't cover too many. I know that they covered a few towards the end. I'm going to take Iowa here, 14.5. It looks like a bit of the juice is leaning towards Grand Canyon, minus 115 on Bet365 right now for the 14.5. I will take Iowa on the 14.5. I'm going to tally these picks and see how we do in the first round. And I am going to come back and clap back at everybody. Hopefully I do a good job on this one because I have been killing it all year in college and I got the receipts in case anybody wants to see them. Maryland. So the Terrapins going against Connecticut. Connecticut has been another one of those teams like Syracuse, like Florida State, that has done a really good showing at this tournament. Shabazz Napier, Kemba Walker, Jeremy Lamb, like a lot of guys in the league, not stars necessarily, but a lot of guys in the league that have been in the league for a while have done a really good job with Connecticut. Connecticut started as a 1-point favorite. They've now gone up to 3. A lot of people taking Maryland in this one. I'm just going to check the seeding. I believe it was a 7-10 matchup, and it is 7-10 matchup. So UConn's the 7, Maryland's the 10. Maryland hasn't had the best season, to be honest, at all. They've been kind of up and down all year. I don't like them, but to be honest, the fact that the line's gone from a 1 to a 3 kind of scares me. So I might change that pick right there. I'm going to take UConn to win the game, but I'm going to take Maryland plus the 3. So I'm thinking UConn wins by 1 or 2. I should actually place a bet on that because that would be crazy odds. UConn to win, Maryland to cover the 3. I think that's going to be another game that really goes down to the wire. Not too many left, guys. Okay. So Ohio's going against Virginia. Virginia's had some bouts with COVID, some players that have had COVID. Ohio's been a really solid team, ended up winning their tournament. I believe that they beat Buffalo in the finals. So 7.5-point dogs, Ohio, they're going against Virginia. A lot of people are taking Ohio in this game. And for that reason, to be honest, alone, I love Virginia. I took them to win the game, spread 7.5. Virginia's been one of the best defensive teams, similar to Florida State in the nation for a while. I think that Virginia's going to put the clamps on here, really going to smack Ohio and end up winning by maybe like 10 or 11 points. Next up, Missouri going against Oklahoma. I believe this is an 8-9. It is Oklahoma -1. They're the 8 against Missouri. Missouri started off slow, picked it up, and then didn't have the greatest showing in the SEC tournament, but the Tigers have another guy that's going to go in the first round this year. I believe he's their point guard. I'm going to take Missouri plus the 1. Looks like there's a little bit of juice leaning towards Missouri here. So I will take Missouri in that one. Texas going against Abilene Christian. This was the team I was telling you go before. I've never heard of before. I'm going to take Texas -9. I've liked them. They've really caught on fire as of late. And I think they're going to win this game and possibly win big. Okay. VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, going against Oregon. Oregon is caught. They're one of the few teams this year that has not really done too much for me. And VCU has been incredible. And I talked about it before. Ever since Shaka Smart was there, they've been a really good defensive team in the Atlantic 10. I believe they won the tournament this year. A lot of people have Oregon going pretty far in the tournament. They ended up losing to Oregon State in the Pac-12. I believe it was the semis, and they're 5.5-point favorites here. I like Virginia, VCU to cover the spread and win the games. So it's a +5 and a 190, +190, almost 2-1 on the money line. That wraps it up for the first round games. The only thing that I believe is not here. Gonzaga is going to go against, it was Norfolk State. I saw they were up late. That spread, I'm guessing, is going to be around 33. I'm going to take Gonzaga to cover, whatever the spread is. Other game that is not available yet would be Michigan, who's going against Texas Southern, who beat Mount St. Mary's. And that spread was up when I saw it. So I have Michigan. No, I don't have Michigan. I have Texas Southern plus the 26. All right, guys. So I'll go through the bracket for whatever games, just to kind of go through the first round with you guys. So Gonzaga advancing against Norfolk. Missouri to defeat Oklahoma. Creighton to beat UCSB. Virginia over Ohio. Drake with the upset over USC. Eastern Washington, massive upset against Kansas. VCU, another dog to take out Oregon. Iowa to beat Grand Canyon. That was the West. I need to go to the South now. Baylor to win. Wisconsin to beat UNC. Winthrop with the big 5-12 upset there. So I'm going to take the 12 Winthrop to beat Villanova, champion from, I believe, 2 years ago. I didn't get into this one now that I remember. Okay, Purdue going against North Texas. North Texas ended up winning their division, their conference. They took out Western Kentucky in their final there. I like North Texas to cover the 7.5. I know that Purdue is very good defensively. They have like a 7'3" center. I believe he's from Toronto. Shout out to him. I couldn't remember his name. But I'm going to take North Texas plus the 7.5. Kind of foolish for me to take North Texas, but I did take them on my bracket as another big dog. I'll take them. Utah State. Remember Utah State. I'm telling you guys, remember Utah State. Don't come at me if they lose, though. Utah State to take out Texas Tech. That's an 11 beating a 6. Colgate. A 14 to take out a 3 in Arkansas. Take Colgate. Virginia Tech. A 10 to beat the 7 there. And lastly, in the South, I have Ohio State to beat Oral Roberts. Let's go to the East. Michigan taking out Texas Southern, LSU to beat St. Bonnie's, Georgetown to defeat Colorado, Florida State beating Greensboro. Michigan State is playing UCLA. Last time I checked, they were up. This is another spread that's not available. Michigan State was up, I believe, by 5. This was similar to Drake. I said that if Michigan State wins this game, I'm taking them in the 11-6 against BYU. If UCLA manages to win this game, I'm taking BYU. I assume that Michigan State's going to pull this off. I'm going to take them to beat BYU in the first round. Texas to beat Abilene Christian, UConn to beat Maryland, Alabama to beat Iona. Last one here, Midwest. Illinois to beat Drexel, Loyola Chicago to beat Georgia Tech, that's an 8-9. Oregon State to upset Tennessee, who, like I said, have a lot of people taking Tennessee. So that's a 12 versus 5. We see that all the time, 8.5 point spread, give me Oregon State. Liberty to beat Oklahoma State. San Diego State to upset Syracuse. Oh, sorry, not to upset. 3-point favorites there, 6 against the 11. San Diego State taking the Aztecs. West Virginia to smash Morehead State. Rutgers to upend Clemson. And then lastly, Houston to beat Cleveland State. That's going to do it for all tonight, guys. That's going to do it for tonight. So it's 11:10. I'm going to try and post this tonight. Hopefully you guys can take some of those picks. If I had to give, I guess, my best bets for the spreads in the first round, I'll take one from every bracket, every quarter of the bracket here. So I'm going to take Utah State plus the 4. I will take Eastern Washington plus the 10.5. I will take Texas minus 9. There's a favorite. And I will take San Diego State minus a 3. So that's San Diego State minus 3, Utah State plus 4, Eastern Washington plus 10, and Texas minus 9. Once again, Texas minus 9, Eastern Washington plus 10.5, Utah State plus 4, San Diego State minus 3. Take that to the bank, collect the cash. You don't need to send me any 10%. I'm not your agent, but I'm going to give you some free picks. Good luck, guys. Good luck on your bracket, and I'll see you guys. You know what? Once the first round's done, I'll do another one for the second round. Have a good night. Take care.